Yo, what's up? This is, oh my god. This is episode 21 of Bottom of the Net, or episode 3 of Back of the Net. I forgot to say that last episode, actually, that we're considered Back of the Net when I watched it back. And we are without Aiden today. So let me just say that he had some personal things he had to take care of, which is perfectly fine. He should be back next episode. We thought he was going to come in a little late, but then he ended up texting us that he won't be here today. So you will be missed, Aiden. Also, really
We
quick.
fired him.
Fired him. Also, really quick, on a more serious note, we want to say our condolences to the family of, I believe his name is Andreas Balanta, the Colombian footballer. He played for a team out in Colombia, I believe it was. He's 22 years old, or was 22 years old, and he died after a training session. Or at the training
Collapsed.
session,
Yep.
he collapsed. So definitely condolences to his family. Yeah, it's pretty sad. 22 years old, your career is pretty much still getting started to a certain extent, and he was a U17 and U20 international for the Colombian national team. So, it's very sad to hear that anything like that happening. But now on a brighter note, group stage is done, and we are going to be talking about. We're just going to be reviewing each group essentially, and then we're going to go through the knockout stages. And it's just going to be general conversations where we're not going to go with any strict topics this time around. And if we have some extra time at the end, I have some transfer news already stemming from this tournament, which me and Alm did tell you guys that would be happening. It happens every single tournament where players shine at these tournaments and get noticed from teams abroad. Anyway, so we're going to move on, and we're going to start with Group A. Netherlands and Senegal going through. I feel like there's no surprises. I wanted Ecuador to go through, and I did think that they would go through, especially considering their performances. But they just couldn't edge that win or even a draw. I think a draw would have got them through against Senegal. They would have been on 5. Senegal would have been on 3. So unlucky for Ecuador, but they did great. And it also shows that Senegal can get the job done without Mane. And I think it was that said this, or Aiden, I don't remember who, but they just have such a solid squad that even without Mane, they got through. And they only lost the first game, they won the next 2. And they showed that they could create chances. And then of course one of the big boys that Aiden mentioned before, Koulibaly, pops up and to get them that 2-0 cushion. And Netherlands, even though they got the wins, they got 2 wins and a draw. I feel like they were a bit shaky during that draw with Ecuador. I feel like we still saw some of their quote unquote inexperience showing, being back at a major tournament. But congratulations to those 2 teams. It's not a surprise that those 2 teams passed by. It was always going to be a toss-up between Senegal and Ecuador. Unfortunately, sorry for Qatar, lost all 3. One of the worst showings in a World Cup from a host. But you guys tried.
It's just mental though, ain't it? Like first host nation to ever lose the opening game, for first host nation to not win a match at all.
Yeah.
Just man. You just can't write it. You literally can't.
But it was a crazy last day for a lot of these groups, and we're gonna see that as we continue going through these groups. That final day for a lot of these really just had twists and turns. Even for the Senegal-Ecuador one, Ecuador equalized in the 67th, and 3 minutes later, gone. The Senegal go back in the lead. All Ecuador needed was that draw to get through. So I know there's a lot of Ecuadorians near me who are pretty down about that. But you guys should be proud because your national team put in damn. They did a good job. I have a bet with Danny. I can't say that word right now.
So,
They did a good job.
um, no, Ecuador put in a shift, right?
Yes.
Um, Look, no, they actually did. They did put in a good shift. I think Ecuador just showed their inexperience. I think that's all it was. They're a very young squad, actually.
Yeah.
When you look at all the very, very good players, they're quite young. And I think
Right.
that's all it was. It was just inexperience that knocked them out of that group. Where Senegal, slightly the opposite, they've got some more experienced heads, and sometimes you need that in order to get through.
Um, Part of me wants to say like definitely keep an eye out for Ecuador going forward because they do have a decent core coming up, but they are using their star striker in Ener Valencia. He definitely, unless he's magically still gets called up at the age of 37 at the next World Cup if they do qualify, which is not impossible. We've seen players older than
Yeah,
that
we
get
have.
called up, but they don't. I don't think they have another striker that is around his quality coming up right now. So I feel like that would be a bit of a you know talking point. But again, within the next 4 years, so much can change. Striker can come up out of nowhere, get a big move within the next 4 years, and you never know. Uh, but yeah, it was a good chance. That group, besides that toss up between Senegal and Ecuador, is pretty straightforward. I feel like there isn't any surprises, like I said before. Moving on to Group B, though, that is England, USA. Danny, how do you feel about USA going through?
I'm really happy. I'm really happy about the performances that they put in as well. All three games it felt like they were the better team. And that's not easy to do. A lot of the Iran, Wales, and England are not easy teams to go up against. The expectations were high for them,
Mm,
and that can really ruin the team or
right.
make them perform better. So they did well under pressure, and I know they want to keep going. Next game's going to be tough against Netherlands, I believe. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, Pulisic, scary potential injury, but it looks like he'll be fine.
He'll be back, confirmed, for the Netherlands
Sargent,
game.
with an ankle injury. Not sure how if he'll be in the team or not. But the striker position is still kind of scary. Um,
That's
we're
definitely
we're
a
having
spot
to
that
we're
hasn't been
having
solidified.
we're having to rely a lot on our wide players, which is great, but um, we need. I mean, me personally, I feel like it would be great to have a striker who we can trust and rely on. And I don't think we have that right now. Sebachu didn't get a call up.
That was a big surprise because he's
He was,
doing great
yeah.
for Union Berlin, who are
I know he had some
borderline
injury
pulling a
stuff,
Leicester
but
for a while.
right. But yeah, main takeaways is the midfield is great. Anthony Robinson and Dest are surprising a lot of people. I think we all knew the potential that they had, but they're really showing it this tournament. Um, so yeah, I'm really happy with their win and um I think they've conceded one goal and
Yeah,
that was a penalty.
yeah.
So they have zero open game goals. What do you
Open
open
Yep.
play.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
open
Open play.
they've
Open play.
they've conceded zero open play goals. So that's something to be proud of.
No, definitely, for sure.
Yep.
Um, I believe that match day for the most part as well was pretty straightforward when it came to those teams. Excuse me. Excuse me. Uh, from what I remember, I know there was still a chance for Wales to go through if things really went their way, but looking at their performances from the tournament overall, they showed glimpses in like little patches here and there, but overall quality of their play just wasn't really, there. They really lacked.
I think
I
it's
don't
a
really know.
restructuring time for them right now.
Yeah, a bit. I don't know. What would you say,
Well, I think it's also down to the way they play. When Harry Maguire in the first half has 3 touches in the opposition's box, and that's exactly the same amount of Gareth Bale in throughout the entire group stage. That says a lot. For those that don't know, Harry Maguire is a defender for England, and Gareth Bale is like quite like or used to be a world class winger. Was one of them. He was actually for a short period of time the most expensive player
right?
ever sold.
Yeah,
Um, Played for Real Madrid as well. So like to have 3 touches in the opposition area throughout an entire tournament. I think that just sums it up for Wales, really.
Yeah.
Didn't play well. Just
Yeah.
didn't play well. Good revenge as well for when they celebrated after England got knocked out. I think it was in 2016 by Iceland. So a little bit of revenge going on there, which is always quite nice.
It was a 1-0 victory for USA against Iran with that Pulisic goal. Serginho Dest did look great that game. To me personally, he's someone that stood out a lot during that game.
One thing I do want to bring up,
Yeah.
I'm bringing it up because I see a lot of people talking about it.
Okay.
Is that Shaq Moore, the right back, is getting more game time than Giovanni Reina has gotten. And a lot of people want to see Giovanni Reina play. I haven't seen enough of him to know like what he can bring. But the way everybody's talking about him and complaining that he's not getting game time, it's something I just want to bring up. But also, it's tough because that midfield is great unless he plays in an attacking position. I understand why Berhalter isn't giving him game time. It's kind of tough to fit him into that team because they're all performing well, and yeah, you're not going to take Tim Weah out of the wing. You're not going to take Pulisic, and you're not going to take those 3 midfielders. So
the thing about Reina is he plays as more of like a cam, central attacking midfield role, which the way that Berhalter plays, he likes to have those box-to-box midfielders who could put in tackles. Gio Reyna is
and that's why
pretty
Aronson
weak
is
as
coming
well.
on
Exactly.
instead of
Aronson brings loads of energy. So it's tough. And I saw a tweet, I think I saw a tweet from James Rodriguez, Rodriguez. You guys know, for those of you at home that don't know, he was a world-class player for a bit of time. Played for Porto, got transferred to Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, had an insane World Cup for Colombia, scoring probably one of the most memorable goals in the World Cup, which was that volley for himself in off the crossbar. He's come out and said actually that the cam position is a position that with the new era of the systems that are being played, which by the way, I'm assuming this is the same thing in football and basketball and almost any sport. There's always a new wave of tactics that are working best at that time. And James Rodriguez feels like the cam position is a position that, as time has gone on in the recent years, is a position that doesn't really get utilized as much as it used to. So it's difficult to find a club that uses a system that uses the cam positions properly in a sense. So I don't know. That again, that's just something that he's saying. Maybe he's just struggling to adapt as well to these new systems. I truthfully don't know.
I don't have an opinion on it, to be honest.
So, but that could be why Reina doesn't get some start time either.
I think the issue that you got with Giovanni Reina is he's quite often injured, right? He's only 20. It's a massive tournament. Like, it's not necessarily the right tournament for him. Also, we're seeing a slight change where I think previous couple of World Cups, everybody was really into the 4-2-3-1.
Right.
Now everyone's gone back to playing the 4-3-3 again, and actually switching up to the 4-4-2.
Right.
Which we've even seen Brazil play. So you're seeing these older formations just coming back around. And this tends to happen.
Yeah.
You just keep getting these rotation of formations, and I think that's the downside. But he's a very dribbly boy, as I like to call him. He's really good at keeping the ball to his feet. He's just got that. I don't know. It's either, I don't know if it's cockiness or arrogance or what it is, but he's just not that good. If you know where I'm coming from, like, he's a very good boy. He's very good with the ball. It's just that end product. I don't know if it's 100% there for a World Cup.
Right. It's a hit or miss.
I mean,
yeah.
I won't be surprised if we potentially again see him coming on in the knockout stages if USA really need a goal or some creativity in the midfield.
They've given up hope and they need some type of spark.
You
Then
know what
yeah, I
I'm
could see
saying?
that.
Like they'll
Yeah.
bring on
Mm.
Aronson and stuff first, but I won't be surprised if, later on, because knockouts are knockouts now, where the group
Right.
stage, to a certain extent, you can play a bit more conservative because you can get results in different games that still help you go through, etc. Where at knockouts now that's straight elimination. So,
Mm.
but again, Berhalter might be thinking of the inexperience that he brings, first major tournament or major the stature of World Cup, obviously. And again, he has been so injured for Dortmund within the last couple of years. Very unlucky because he was like the next big thing, and then he kind of fell off because his injuries just. I don't want to say he's a flop at all because like he's only 20. He can definitely do well at all. That's why I don't want to say that at all. But like said, this might just not be the tournament for him. Maybe the
Mm.
next World Cup. You know what I'm saying? Where he has 4 more years under his belt. If he can regain his fitness and stay fit, then he'll be fine. Um, Unlucky.
Just a quick one then.
Yeah. What?
I just want to say,
Yeah.
so Netherlands USA is the first round of the knockouts.
Tomorrow.
Yes. How do you guys feel? As
It can go either way. I mean, like I said, Netherlands. Like I don't know. Gapco is going to be a problem. Obviously, it can go either way because I don't know that one. I really can't predict because we saw USA can hang with the big dogs, but I don't know. It does on paper. I'm like Netherlands are gonna
It really
push through.
depends what type of USA shows up, because if you get the USA that showed up against Wales, you know what I'm saying? Like obviously first half was decent, but second half it was shambolic, to say the least. If you
Right.
get that USA, then you guys are getting battered. You know what I mean? But now if you get a USA that stood up against England and actually put in, you know, gave them the decent run, then you could see a more, you know, you could see a tighter type of match. So it really depends. I do think USA are going to be up for it. I think it'll be interesting. I do still think, though, Netherlands might edge out. You know what I mean? But again, if we see a Netherlands against the one that played against Ecuador and then USA turn up, it really depends on how the two teams are, because Netherlands, they've played against Senegal, Qatar, Ecuador. These are teams that, if you think about Netherlands and who they are and what they stand for, should quote unquote be beating these teams. And I feel like they didn't beat them comfortably enough for my liking. Besides maybe Qatar.
so, am I right in saying this? So Netherlands had already qualified before playing Ecuador in the final game.
I believe so, because of the way other fixtures.
Yeah, because they had rotation, and Memphis Depay came back from his injury, right?
Yes.
From his long time.
Who looked
So
decent
you
coming
saw
in.
Netherlands. Yeah, you saw Netherlands slightly rotate in that game. USA England. I don't think USA were that good. Like we all spoke about England not like playing for the draw, not looking to push, right?
Right.
Like we didn't see England play properly, yet USA couldn't break them down.
Right. I
So
I wanted
honestly,
to
I
say,
think it's
like,
3-0 to Netherlands. Like I
Wow.
think Netherlands will trounce USA. I've just got this feeling.
Fair.
see
They didn't
that.
look good. Didn't look good against Wales. 1-0 against Iran, who are a very good team, but not amazing. I don't know. It's not been fantastic for them. Like realistically, am I right in saying that Wales could have gone above
They
USA
could
if you?
Wales, depending on how things went, they technically could have still qualified, I'm pretty sure. They would have had to have an amazing game against England and would have had to had one of the other results go their way from the other game. But I think they were
Yeah.
quote unquote still in it with a slight chance. Obviously, no one was really.
Yeah, it was just goal. I think it was just goal difference, wasn't it? That
We
was the
saw
big thing.
that USA can keep the games at a low scoring results. Like I said, they only conceded one goal, and that was a penalty.
Which
But
is
what
very
I'm
important to remember.
scared about, but what I'm scared about is like if I don't I can't see them breaking through Netherlands defense with De Ligt and Van Dijk and those big players. Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're already struggling to find that end product, and then when you go up against a defense like that, it's going to be tough. So,
And the
if
thing
they play
is,
how they usually do, then it's I can't see USA get through. They have to find that striker who can score, and they couldn't find that during the group stage. They couldn't find that.
I think we're seeing
So
another case of, maybe not just Gio Reyna, but like the USA. I mean, I think them getting out of the group stage should be considered an accomplishment for them this tournament.
for sure.
Um,
And even if
and
they beat Netherlands, they're gonna go up against
I
Argentina in the
mean,
next round.
given people should say, USA should beat Iran, should beat Wales, but I say that because USA came into this with shaky form, and I just feel like overall they have a young squad, and I feel like Berhalter is still finding a solid starting 11. Even though now for this tournament we've seen a bit more consistency with the starting 11, but just who he calls up and stuff. I think the next World Cup is going to be a big one for USA. I think
Yeah, I think
that's
it's only gonna continue going up.
Yeah,
With-
I agree. You're seeing a lot more um, American players now coming to Europe,
yeah,
to the bigger leagues to play, and I think that's the key thing.
right. Um,
Spent a lot of time on this
yeah.
too.
It's fine. I'm paying
Yeah,
attention to the
Yeah.
thing. So, next group, which was an absolutely insane group on the final day. Actually, if you guys want to just yourselves bring up that day, but it was the Argentina, Poland, Mexico, Saudi Arabia group. Um, Saudi Arabia shattering Mexican hearts. Uh, we saw. I mean, Mexico scored two. They scored at the World Cup. Good job. But unfortunately,
Oi, that free kick
that
though.
free kick was disgusting.
Oh, if you guys have the slight, anyone who's watching has the slightest interest in football, go watch it.
Yeah,
Absolutely, go ahead, go watch that free kick. It was fantastic. Oh, it was
yeah, for
beautiful.
sure. And if Messi scored that penalty and Argentina wins 3-0, I don't really know what happens because Poland and Mexico would both be on the same points with the same goal difference.
It went down to yellow cards.
Okay. Because right
So
now they're not. Right now Poland has a 0 goal difference. Mexico has -1 because of Saudi
yes,
Arabia scoring in the
yes.
95th or
So
whatever it was.
Poland tried to play ball in the first half, right? Then realized actually, if we get any yellow cards, if we get 3 yellow cards, Mexico go through,
Wow.
right? So Poland basically then played in a way that was like, we're not making any tackles, and that's how Argentina ended up winning the game. It wasn't Poland were necessarily like cut apart, it was just they didn't really try
Right.
because they knew they would qualify, basically.
Right.
Which is a really risky style of football to play, I want to say that.
Yeah. It really is, especially considering, if Saudi Arabia won that game against Mexico, it doesn't really matter the result of the
Yeah.
Poland game.
Yeah,
Saudi
exactly.
Arabia's through.
Yep.
Saudi Arabia, I'm sure a lot of people, that was like a neutral like fan favorite right there, especially after the win against Argentina. I definitely wanted to see them go through because they played decent football. And Mexico, I believe, had like 1 or 2 goals that were offside that they didn't count. Also, which I know
Yep.
broke their hearts as well. So, I mean, Mexico's another big thing. Mexico's manager gone.
Yes.
After that result as well, which I know a lot of people have been calling for that. I know a lot of Mexicans have been calling for that. They don't really like him, his squad selection, the form right before the World Cup in the CONCACAF or in the qualifiers or in the Gold Cup, I forget what it is, or the Nations League, something like that.
All of it
All of it.
wasn't great.
So I know
Yeah.
that's been happening. So hopefully you guys get someone that can definitely help you guys out. But congratulations definitely to Argentina and Poland. I don't see Poland going very far because they still haven't really convinced me in the group stage that much, personally. But yeah, I also feel like, I really didn't think Poland is a bit of a surprise to me because I really did think Mexico or Saudi Arabia were going to go through. I really thought Poland, I believe in the first episode, said we're going to finish bottom. So I am because I just thought Mexico with their stat of always getting to the knockouts is like a huge thing, and then the way Saudi Arabia
Their
were
first
playing,
time, I think. I don't know if it might be their
first
first
time in the last
time.
4 or 5, I think, right?
Just
not making it
Yes.
to the next round.
something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Just a really quick one. We kind of missed it. Sorry, I've got it in front of me. That's why. England, Senegal. Who do we think wins? Because
Oh.
that's who's playing. Because obviously you spoke about Netherlands, USA. Just very
Right,
quickly,
right,
England,
yeah.
Senegal.
Yeah, no,
What do we
tackle
think?
those as it goes.
Senegal.
Which is the round of 16 game, guys. It's a knockout game.
Yeah.
Senegal.
Senegal. You're saying Senegal over England?
Senegal's
Okay.
gonna win.
I
My
It's
say,
tough.
mind
I
goes
say,
straight to
It's
Senegal, but
really
I just
tough.
said it out loud.
it is a tough one because we have a Senegal team who have a solid defense but are not afraid to go forward at all.
Yeah.
And then,
Yes.
but the thing is, we've seen a pretty defensively solid England team this tournament. Like,
Yeah.
so it really that's going to be a tough game. I'm not surprised if that goes to extra time.
Yeah, I agree.
See that.
I
I'm
co-
not
I
surprised if
agree.
that goes to extra time.
I'm
So
I'm
If it goes
saying
to penalties, England will win. But if it doesn't,
it's gonna.
then
If I
Senegal
say
will win.
whoever wins, it's a 1-0.
uh,
If they do win, or a 2-1.
I'm saying 2-1. I'm saying 2-1.
Yeah.
I'm saying 2-1. So whoever wins, it will be
whoever
2-1.
wins.
Right.
Okay.
And you guys, and
Yeah,
for those at home,
like,
remember, like
It's that tight.
we're in the knockout round, so now teams have to go for it. There's no drawing. If they draw after the 90 minutes, they get extra time, so they have 2 15-minute halves to try and get another goal. If not, it goes to a penalty shootout. So teams kind of have to go for it. Once you hit like the 80th minute or 85th, teams sometimes might fall back a little bit because they're like, let's go for extra time just to make sure we at least see that through. And then sometimes in extra times you might see teams fall back a little more in the second half of extra time because they're like, screw it, let's just try and get through the penalty shootout and see what happens. But yeah, that'll definitely be an interesting game. I'm gonna say England. I am gonna say England, but it's gonna be a tough game, and I won't be surprised if we see Senegal win. Let me word it that way, because I don't think England are for sure going through, but my heart is telling me England will see them through.
See, this might sound really weird. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit, right? Because basically, it's France versus Poland and England versus Senegal. My issue is that if Senegal play France, France win quite easily, I think, because of how the two teams play.
Right.
Where England, France, I think England actually have a chance against France.
I agree. I completely agree.
Right?
I
Which is
completely
really
agree.
weird that, and it's just because of how the teams play. Like I really hope England get through just because I want to see England France. Like what a quarterfinal that is.
Yeah.
Think England's defense can keep up with Mbappe?
What with Harry Maguire, the way he's playing, my boy's a legend. No, yes, I genuinely think they
I feel
can.
like that could easily go really bad. I don't
No,
know.
so Kyle Walker will be back. Kyle Walker, they've already prepped
Make
him
the
for
right change
playing
this
against Mbappe. He is quick enough to keep up with him. And let's not forget, Mbappe's good. He takes his chances, but he needs about 6 or 7 opportunities to score.
Yes.
And
Yes.
right, and that's the thing. And against this England team, he's not going to get 6 or 7. Yes, he has the ability to take 1 in 3 or 1 in 2 chances, but so far he's needed 6 or 7. So I don't know if he'll get the same amount of opportunities against England as he would against other teams. And
Right.
that's why I say that England might be better against France than Senegal. I feel like Senegal would give Mbappe those opportunities.
No, I completely agree. And then for some reason, it seems I have a hunch that this tournament, England are going to do decent against bigger opposition, where they're going to struggle against teams like Senegal. You saw them struggle a little bit
Yeah.
like against USA.
Yes.
You know what I'm
yes, I agree.
Like those
Like, again, Poland,
those
I feel
mid-tier
like, yeah.
teams, I feel like they might they
Yeah.
struggle against the mid-tier, but the high tier, I feel like they turn up a little bit.
Yep.
So that'll definitely be an interesting one. But congratulations to Argentina and Poland from that last group getting through. I know that's a big thing. And also, speaking of Chavez, let me bring it up really quick. That free kick, I actually saw today, Bayern Leverkusen eyeing Chavez, the guy that scored that free kick. So that's a piece of news that Bayern Leverkusen, not saying that they weren't watching anyone from Mexico, but, you know, because these teams, and Bayern Leverkusen, for you guys don't know, is a team in Germany who's pretty reputable. That's definitely a World Cup scouting mission right there, personally.
You know who their manager is? On a quick one? Xavi Alonso.
Oh, Xavi Alonso, right.
also that which brought up a little bit of controversy because he's like one of the only foreign managers to be in the Bundesliga, and German media really only like German managers.
Right.
So that's quite interesting the way that they go. But yeah, sorry.
Right. No, it's fine. So yeah, they Luis Chavez, the guy that scored that free kick, currently plays for Pachuca out of Mexico, and he's being eyed by Bayern Leverkusen. Whether there's going to be any movement in that, we don't really know yet. Compared to what we mentioned last episode with Johnston from Canada, that's pretty much almost confirmed that he's going to Celtic. This is more of a rumor at the current moment. There hasn't been any crazy movement, but it is only Bayern Leverkusen eyeing him. And usually when you see a player getting eyed, I feel like just by one team, it's a pretty reputable to a certain extent, I feel like. Whereas if you see a player getting linked to like 5-6 different teams, it's like, all right, buddy. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens. We never know. But moving on to the next group, which we've spoken about one of the teams a little bit.
You can use the restroom, so I'll be right back, guys.
That's perfectly fine. Big up Australia, proving me the heck wrong. For France and Australia.
Everybody wrong.
Yeah. France and Australia getting through the group of France, Australia, Tunisia, and Denmark. Tunisia putting in a good chance. I'm not gonna lie. They beat France. I know France played like a bit of a B team.
What are you looking forward to most of all?
It's fine.
Clip.
Yeah, clip that. But Tunisia, they did what they needed to do that day. Unfortunate that Australia wins.
Wait. Let's just start this segment again.
Yeah.
Right? Like, let's just cut it.
Sorry, guys. It's all good.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, no. Basically, I had a timer, and the timer just...
Got it.
Yeah.
So, as I was saying, France, Australia going through. First episode, we pretty much all, especially me, kind of shit on Australia. Just because they lacked the quality. At the time, going based on paper, they lacked the quality. But they proved a lot of people wrong. They got 2 wins and only 1 loss. They didn't get any draws. And to
Scotland's
be honest,
B team were fantastic. Scotland's B team's better than Scotland.
Fun fact. I'm holding the mic close to me so you can hear me a bit better. The fun fact: the striker for Australia plays in Japan, not the first division, the second division. And for you to come to the World Cup and score, or even play at the World Cup, is nuts. To be playing in the second division of Japan, you know what I'm saying? So that's pretty big. But yeah, Australia, they beat Denmark 1-0. And I think Denmark is definitely a lot of people's, I guess, one of their disappointments of the tournament.
Dark horses.
That was everyone's dark horses.
There were a lot of people's dark horses.
So I would definitely say that that's a bit of a disappointment for this tournament. They looked bad, didn't they?
They were awful.
Yeah.
Every single game, they were just awful. They were really slow, really boring.
Yeah.
Didn't have any pace. Like,
this
the
is
Denmark,
not the Denmark that we've seen.
Yeah. The Denmark of previous tournaments was so much better.
Yeah.
This was...
and the core is still there, which is so weird. It's so weird seeing a lot of the core from those tournaments still there. And only 1 or 2 of them really getting on in age, like Eriksson and some of the defenders.
In a really weird way, this might sound really bad, but I'm wondering whether we saw Denmark do really well because of what happened with Christian Eriksen in the previous tournament. Right? And then that sort of galvanized the players to play above how good they are.
Right.
Where in this tournament they were just really bad.
Right.
Couldn't believe it. Because I think that's for all of us, that was our second team to get through.
Yeah.
I don't even think any of us said Tunisia either, so
yeah.
we were all sort of like France, Denmark. And that was the same for a lot of people.
No, yeah, for sure. So definitely good job to Australia getting the result against Denmark. Lecky, who used to play in Europe, I don't know if he still does, scoring. And then they also, I'm just bringing it up here.
Shout out Aaron Moy, who used to play for Huddersfield in the Premier League. He was really good.
Yeah. Like,
really good for Australia.
And then they also got that 1-0 win against Tunisia, who ended up going to beat France. So, I mean, We saw a lot of, again, I know it was France's B team, but you still expect France's B team to beat
Yes.
Tunisia. So
Yes.
I know that Tunisia really, that it's so unlucky because they really just needed Denmark to do them a favor and Tunisia would be through.
Yep.
And it just did not work out that way. So that very much sucks. And that would have been another is Tunisia African? Is that considered an African
Yes.
nation?
Yes.
That would have been, I think, like
Yes.
the fourth African nation to go through to the
Yeah.
knockout rounds, or
Yep.
third, which,
It would have
you
been.
know, that's great representation. We spoke about France coming up against Poland a bit. If we want to talk about it a little more, I do think France beat Poland. Danny, just I know you just came back. Your mic is muted, just so you know. I do think France beat Poland. Like I said earlier, Poland did not convince me enough during the group stage. They got through. Good job. Not taking anything away from them and not taking anything away from the players that they have on that squad. But I just think France does beat Poland. I don't know. How about you, You think France getting through Poland? You think that's a thing?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The way that Poland have played has not been great.
Yeah.
Who did they even beat? Did they beat Saudi Arabia? Like they
beat-
drew, if I'm not mistaken, did they draw against Mexico?
They
and
lost
beat
against
Saudi?
Argentina, drew Mexico, beat Saudi. Yes.
Yeah. So they only won the one game they realistically should have won.
Right.
Right? Poland have not looked good. I don't think Lewandowski has looked amazing.
No, he hasn't.
Yeah, I don't know. I think France win that quite easily.
Yeah, unless we see a Lewandowski masterclass where he's on his, like we've known Lewandowski for the last however many years, where he's just been such a clinical finisher. I see France getting through. Again, it's one of those games that's not to say Poland cannot beat France. They definitely can. But the Poland of this
Everybody's in the World
tournament-
Cup for a reason.
Exactly.
Like,
But the
it can all
Poland,
go
the
either
Poland
way,
that
so.
we've seen so far is not a Poland that I think can beat the France that we've seen so far.
Right.
But yeah, congratulations to France and Australia. Who do Australia play? Argentina.
Argentina.
Good
yeah.
luck. But I said this about the group stage and you guys got through, so I don't even want to say that you guys cannot do it, because obviously you guys got through the group stage against Denmark and
It's
Tunisia.
Argentina though.
Yeah, I
Not
know
against
this Argentina
Argentina.
squad has looked decent.
That's why I said even if England beat Netherlands, USA beat Netherlands, they're gonna go up against Argentina. And
I don't know if Messi gets injured though, it changes. Like I think that the whole complexion of Argentina changes. He's pulled them through a couple of games. Like Lautaro Martinez has not looked amazing.
Yeah, he has.
Angel Di Maria has been awful.
Alvarez looked
I'm trying to think
decent
of-
in their last game against
He
Poland.
looks good, but how many goals has he scored?
I think only one.
Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
One of the
they
best players
don't-
is Enzo, midfield.
Yeah, he looks really good to be fair. The Benfica guy, right?
Enzo Fernandez, yeah. He's already
Yeah.
linked with a move away, but Benfica are saying
Goal and assist.
unless you paid the 120 mil in his release clause, we're not selling him. So
But yeah, like I don't know. Going back to, I just don't know if Argentina without Messi are as strong as we think.
right.
But it's really weird because I could say that about so many teams. That if you
Right.
take out this one player, and I think this is the weird thing about Senegal, right? That I was sort of saying this, even without Mane, it's a very strong squad. They play together very well,
Right.
rather than a group of collective individuals.
Right.
And so this is why it's so interesting. I think like that Argentina team has always been a group of individuals trying to play together.
Right.
So you take out Messi, I think that's interesting.
Yeah, no, it definitely will be. Now moving on to the next group, Japan and Spain going through. What a group!
Big up Japan.
Yeah, what a group though. Like that last match day, at one point Japan and Costa Rica were going through. Like
Oh
at
my
one point
God.
Germany was
I was-
going through.
I
Like
was
that
going
match, if
through.
you were
Yeah,
watching that
like-
match day, that was insane. Me and Danny kept flipping between Japan and Spain, and then Costa Rica and Germany, because as soon as we found out Costa Rica were in the lead, we're like, bro, both Spain
Yeah.
and Germany are out. which like from it's cool from like a neutral perspective, like seeing something like that, you know what I'm saying, and seeing like underdogs get through. But it was also like, if you take out Spain and Germany from this tournament, the knockout rounds, because the knockout rounds, we talk about the group stage, the knockout rounds is a whole different ball game compared to group stage. Let me just
That was
say
the
that as
easiest
well.
group to predict.
The easiest group to predict.
Before the game started, that was the easiest group to predict, I think.
But yeah, Japan finishing top, which I don't think anyone predicted. We thought Japan would get through second, or we hoped, but we didn't think they were finishing top, especially how Spain started off the tournament. Costa Rica really did bounce back. They beat Japan and showed a bit of quality against Germany. You don't just go up 2-1 against Germany in the second half for no reason. So they did show some fight. Unfortunately, Germany did come back, beat them 4-2. I say unfortunately because of obvious reasons. I'm still happy Germany's out, personally. But it would have definitely been nice to see Spain out, because Spain in the knockout rounds, they're either going to be insane or they're going to be terrible. I really don't feel like there's an in-between.
There's if you guys can show anything, right? There is an image from the Germany-England game back in 2010, 2012, 2010, right? Just show that image, right? Show the image of the Japan game, and it's so nice to finally be able to not get revenge, but at least the German people now know how it feels.
Yeah.
It was just incredible, absolutely incredible.
No, yeah.
I think we were all saying, "Oh my god, like what a goal! I can't believe they scored that." And then it's like, "Nah, it was out. Can't believe it. Like, how has that been overturned?" Basically, camera angles. Wow.
Yeah.
That's all I want to say there is camera angles. You can take it away for the rest of it, Steve.
Yeah, no, me and Danny were watching that game live, and we literally looked at each other and were like, fuck, it's going to be called out. Like, that's going to be overturned. Like, we looked at that because they only gave us that one angle at that time.
Goal line technology, photo, or anything that we could see.
So we only saw that after the game where they started posting stuff, and I mean, it should be sort of common knowledge, but a ball is round and not, it's not like a rectangle.
Yeah.
So we should know, like, yeah, it's not square. So we should know to look at it from an above angle to see that it was still barely.
I've seen that.
Do you know what though?
Photo.
I kept doing this, right? Where every time, even though when I looked at other people trying to prove why it's that way. It
looked a little off, right?
No. This is. No. What I was going to say is, the problem is, I think when we look at it, we always look at the bottom of the ball.
Right.
Right? So the bottom section looks out, but you don't focus on the side where you're like, oh, that could be in. It's because you naturally focus on, I see grass, I see green grass, and I see ball. Not, yeah. I see white line and maybe side of ball. You look at the bottom of it. So...
Yeah.
And this was the thing, and as I saw like people making their own versions of it as to why it wasn't out, like I then went, oh yeah, that ball's round.
Yeah.
Oh, it rolls. So yeah.
What's it called? And for those of you that don't know at home, the whole ball needs to be over the line. Not the bottom of where it touches the turf, the grass, whatever you're playing on. The whole ball. So like the circumference of the ball. So if the ball is touching the floor, but the side is still over the line, quote unquote, that's in. Which is why
I'm trying to think of a way to even.
Yeah. I don't even know.
Like, how do I show you guys? Because science.
A quarter.
Let's say.
I got a quarter. So even though this might be touching.
There you go.
The grass, the edge of the ball was still on the line. As long as it is still on the line, then it is in, no matter what. That is how the rules work.
Yeah, so I guess like from the camera angles, it sort of looked like this, right?
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh, that looks behind, but then when you go sideways, you kind of go, oh, actually,
yeah, exactly.
It's touching. But if I do it this way, it looks like my finger's behind.
Yeah.
But it's still there. Right. So Yeah, that was magical. It was
But-
actually magical. I was over the moon. I'd never screamed for a neutral
Oh,
team so
as-
much in my life.
Ask Danny. I was
Oh.
jumping as if it was Portugal.
Yeah,
Seen
so
him
was
celebrate
I.
that much in a long time.
It
Yeah.
was, bro. I was jumping like it was Portugal, bro. I couldn't control myself, or like QPR in the playoff final. Like I was going nuts.
What an upset! Like, Fantastic.
Ritsu Doan playing out in the Bundesliga, coming on as a second half sub and scoring again to start the comeback. He did that against Germany as well.
mm-hmm.
A
And
great super
why
sub
are
as
they
well.
not starting? Let's talk about this really quick. Why are they not starting that young Brighton man Matoma? He comes on and looks fantastic. I don't know what your guys' take on that is.
I think it's purely tactical. Like
Yep,
he is
I
the
agree.
super sub,
Mm.
and he can also play a bit more defensive. So I think, I don't know. I think it's
Yeah.
like really dangerous,
Oh,
fresh legs, and
Um,
somebody that can also track back.
That's fair. That's
we're,
fair. I get that.
we're not even seeing Minamino, like play, right? So I think it is tactical. You've also got my head, Arsenal right back.
Tamayasu.
Tomiyasu, that's it. You're not even seeing Tomiyasu start, and that was because of injuries and things like that. But even though he's getting match fit, I should say, because he's not 100% match fit, he's still not starting, and that's just
Right.
because I think it's purely tactical.
Right.
I mean, and we see it worked twice because they beat Spain and beat Germany, both of which they were 1-0 down, I believe, and then the second half they scored the 2 goals,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the super subs are the ones contributing to those goals.
You
So
just
it's
see
literally.
the passion from the Japanese.
It looks like they,
players.
both wins. It looked like they won the whole
Yeah.
tournament.
And
The way they ran onto the field.
honestly, Japan should be happy though. They should be, because that's
Yeah.
not if you.
Who did they play after
If
this?
you look at probably everyone that was betting on the World Cup, everyone that's looking at that group, even though everyone knows that Japan is a good team making it to the knockouts, the last World Cup, etc., you just look at Spain and Germany, who are such heavyweights in the competition in general, even though they have had, questionable tournaments previously and at different times, they're still considered heavyweights. So for Japan to go toe-to-toe, and actually, even though they lost against Costa Rica, they beat the 2 teams that mattered, Spain and Germany. So that's a huge thing. You know what I mean? And maybe we'll see that continue. Maybe, I don't know who they're playing. See, they're playing against Croatia, which to me is like, is that really considered a heavyweight? Maybe they'll struggle. Maybe they do better against the heavyweights.
I actually think this is the perfect game for Japan.
Okay,
I actually think this is the more preferable game.
fair enough.
Morocco are a team who play very similar to Japan, right?
Right.
And they've got really good quality in probably the best right back in the world in Hakimi, and then they've got Ziyech, who's finally
Oh,
back and looked
Yeah, he looks
amazing.
Chelsea
So-
winning players.
Yeah, like two absolute quality players in that Morocco team who can unlock a defense, and I think because they've not got they're not a team completely full of superstars. They've got enough to like work around Japan and the way Japan would play.
Right.
So I think going against Croatia are a team who like to hold the ball a little bit like Spain, but slower and older. I think Japan, it will be the same, right? So you might see them go 1-0 down in that first half. Second half, Japan will come out and play that same way again and do something very similar. But yeah, no, I think it suits Japan. And like I said, semi-finalists, I'm seeing it now.
And a lot of people saying for Flick to get sacked. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think they'll give him one more
Think so.
tournament to see what happens.
Yeah.
Because Germany, realistically, they are going through some sort of a transitionary period. There's a lot of the older heads from older tournaments, Muller and stuff, leaving. And their defense, I forget who it was, but someone said Germany's defense, besides Rudiger, is a Bundesliga defense. Bundesliga quality. They don't have any world beaters in that defense. That's what I think it was a German player that said that, and I forget who it was off the top of my head.
But that's not a bad thing, because if you think Sula plays for Borussia Dortmund,
But he was called
You've,
off a lot. this
like-
tournament, though.
yeah, but I think the issue isn't that, right? You have Sane, who did not look like the same player. You had Gnabry, who wasn't the same player from the last tournament. They didn't have an out-and-out striker. Like, they relied on a 20-year-old Jamal Musiala, who is very good, but again, he's 4 years from being he's like one of these potential Ballon d'Or winners, right? He really is. But he's just not there yet. So you can't rely on Jamal Musiala to help this Germany team through, and then like they didn't know what to do with Kimmich, and it was just so you saw it in the second half against who did they play? Who did they beat in that group?
Oh my gosh!
My god!
Nah, I'll bring
Costa Rica, right? So you saw it in the second half against Costa Rica, where they moved Kimmich to right back, and the worst thing is this is what a lot of the fans and pundits in Germany were saying. I was reading some German media, and they were all saying that Kimmich should have played right back so you can get more quality into that midfield, right? And he didn't. He played Kimmich in the midfield, and they didn't have a pass that could unlock a defense. He moved him to right back, put on like Kai Havertz, and started playing a couple of different players more in their right positions, and then they just went and absolutely thrashed Costa Rica after they took the lead. So it was just a little bit too little, too late, too much relying on a 20-year-old kid like Giovanni Reina, for example. Like USA wouldn't rely on him. I don't know why Germany would, because at the end of the day, you're World Cup winners.
Like I said,
not too long ago.
I think Flick is trying to find a system with this new set of German players that he's being dealt with, and some of these players, it's new and it's not. When I say new, I'm talking about like the German teams from 2010, 2012, 2014.
But how do they get knocked out? Okay, yes, I expected Japan to go through, and yes, okay, I expected Spain to go through, but look at the players.
Right.
Like, they've got quality, like Schlotterbeck, right? Like, yes, he plays for Dortmund. He is outstanding as a defender, right? Sule's good. Okay, yeah, he's not world class, but he's good. Right. Like, Kimmich, outstanding. Neuer is outstanding. Like, they've got Havertz, outstanding. So many players who are realistically like...
whose price tags are probably over 50 to 60 mil.
Yeah, like... So I just don't get it. Like, okay, yes, you're going through a transition, but that doesn't mean you get knocked out in the group stage.
Right.
I don't know. That's a rant for another day.
No. We'll definitely be talking about some of this stuff after the tournament for sure.
Yeah, I think definitely it's a post World Cup talk because
yeah, congratulations to Japan though. Huge achievement to get out of that group. And Spain, congratulations. I think a lot of people expected you to get out, but you did look a little shaky at times. I feel like they showed that they were a bit vulnerable on counterattacks. So we'll see how that plays against Morocco, who are a huge counterattacking team. So we'll see how that comes out. Next group is Morocco, Croatia getting through. Big up Morocco as well. They played fantastic. Croatia didn't convince me. They like Denmark. They didn't look like the Croatia of past tournaments, is what I'm trying to say. They didn't convince me enough.
They old.
Yeah.
That's all I want to say.
That experience comes clutch during the knockout phases.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
It did during the group stages.
You know
for sure. What do you think, Danny?
I have nothing to say.
What's it called? Belgium, Roberto Martinez stepping down.
Yeah.
He's been at that.
Well, his contract finished.
Yeah.
His contract was finished
been
anyway.
Head coach of Belgium though since he was manager at Everton. Yeah. No? It's been a while.
After Everton,
it's probably been like 8 to 10 years. He's been there. So that's a huge thing.
I think Thierry Henry has joined him as an assistant manager 3 times.
Wow. Yeah.
So yeah.
That's like huge.
If I'm not mistaken.
And Lukaku had a howler.
No. I don't agree. I do not agree with this. I really don't.
Let me hear it.
He's been injured for so long.
I was gonna say yes,
right?
Yes, for sure.
You can't and actually out of all of his opportunities, only one of them I would say was an absolute sitter. Right? The one where it comes to his chest, I don't expect him to control that because it was pinged.
Right.
Okay, yes, but the thing is, if you look at him, he did some stuff really well. there was a moment where he was going to be offside from a pass, and he literally grabs the defender and throws him in front, right? So he's not offside. Like, that's Lukaku. Like, he wasn't bad, and I think, but it wasn't his fault. Weirdly, it's Belgium as a whole's fault because you have Lukaku, who's so good, and Batshuayi, who's nowhere near as good. So if they had that player who was just a little bit better, I think they would have been fine.
Right.
But the problem is, it wasn't like I keep comparing it to Netherlands. Netherlands had Depay, who wasn't match fit, but managed to play a game where he didn't really matter whether they won or lost because they were basically through. Right. Belgium didn't have that, and there was so much pressure on Lukaku. Like,
yeah,
a Lukaku who scored eight goals in 11 games.
Right.
Trust me, he scores a hat trick in that match. But coming off so long injured, he was never going to be the savior.
Right.
Expected goals from Belgium.
That's a,
Like
that,
those
Belgium
are one of
as
the
a
few teams
whole,
that
though.
I always expect goals from them. And they literally had one goal, and it was against Canada, which was a 1-0 win for them.
Belgium as a
excuse me.
whole, I do think we're a bit disappointing, though. As a whole,
Yeah.
De Bruyne did not. Where was he? You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't see the Man City De Bruyne. Again, I say that also knowing that it's Man City with the players that he's surrounded by. You know what I'm saying? But
No, but it's the quality that's there. Like, this is what I mean. Where Lukaku would have done so much better
right,
if he had been fit.
right,
Like, De Bruyne starts finding those passes to him so much more often, or tries them and attempts them so much more if Lukaku's match fit. Right? Like, because they didn't. Hazard was awful.
right.
Both of the brothers.
Both of them, yeah.
Like, I don't know. My real annoyance as a Leicester City fan is that Wout Fez didn't play.
He
Right, 'cause he's
chose to
been-
go over Tongan and Alderweireld, the old
Like,
days.
and he's been outstanding for Leicester. He's actually been so good. I don't get why in that third game you just don't go, you know what? Let's just give it a try.
Right,
Let's just try.
right.
Because what he does really well for Leicester is very similar to Fofana, Wesley Fofana, who we sold to Chelsea for like 80 million. That he wins the ball and brings it out into the midfield and almost creates like an extra midfielder in attack so that other players can push and overload defenses. Like, it would have suited Belgium so well when they needed that to win that game.
Yeah. I definitely would say that Croatia got lucky and Belgium were unlucky, based off of that game because that if Belgium won that game, Belgium is through. And if we started seeing a more fit Lukaku in the knockout stages, they would have been a bit more dangerous than what we saw in the group stage.
I just want to say though, shout out to a former Leicester player, Kramaric, who did not do well at Leicester, and he actually blames it on himself that he didn't do so well. But it's really nice to see him doing well at Croatia at the World Cup at the age of 32.
Yeah.
I believe he is.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Which is wild,
just
by the way.
yeah, I know.
That's a more me and Om thing. That's kind of wild because we saw him get his move to Leicester, so that's kind of weird. We're getting old. What's it called? And
he was 24 when he made that move. He was already old.
oh wow, I thought he was like 22, 21.
Yeah, exactly. No, he was old at the time.
Fair enough.
Yeah, this is we're not getting old, but we are.
Canada, good try. You really did try. I think we're gonna see a pretty decent Canada squad at the next World Cup, since they automatically qualify. I think we're gonna see a pretty good Canada side. I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, there's gonna be some players like Hutchinson probably not gonna be there. Steven Victoria's super old, but they have other defenders who are definitely gonna be stepping up into those positions and definitely solidify those spots. So Canada, even though you didn't get any points, don't be disappointed. You played very well. You just couldn't get those results, and I do see a bright future for that national team. Let's actually.
They've just very quickly on that. They've got an 18-year-old, 17-year-old who's coming through, plays in Canada at the moment. I cannot remember his name for the love nor money.
Danny.
No.
Malcone is.
It's like he's got a double barrel surname, I believe. I cannot remember his name for the love nor money.
Sure.
It's like almost 11 o'clock here.
It's
Marshall Rudy.
What, Danny?
Is it Marshall Rudy? Marshall Rudy could be Marshall Rudy.
He's basically a free agent at the end of the season anyway. But it looks like he's got really good potential. He's another quite a dribbly boy. So I'm excited to see him make a move because I think he will be really good at the next World Cup if his sort of career progression continues.
Yeah. But congrats to Morocco and Croatia. Morocco is definitely going to be very interesting to see in the knockout stages. I do, like we said earlier, we spoke about this a little bit. On your camera, just on you.
Oh, yep, I'll be back in just a sec.
Okay,
That's fine.
that's fine. I do think Morocco and Spain game will be an interesting game for
Very
sure.
fun.
And then Croatia Japan, I also do think it'll be an interesting game. I can't really say who I think is gonna win the Morocco Spain game. Part of me feels like Morocco might win. Just based off of, I guess, form and how they're playing and how Spain play. Like, Spain don't play terribly, but I just feel like Morocco might edge them. And Japan, Croatia is also going to be interesting. But let me just fix this. There we go. Moving on, Brazil, Switzerland getting through in that group. I believe those were my predictions. Brazil and Switzerland, or no, I said Brazil, Serbia originally.
Yes.
I did say that originally.
I think I said Brazil, Cameroon.
Yeah. But Brazil, Switzerland were probably the safer choices, which I think ended up, going through.
Yep.
So congratulations to them. Brazil. Excuse me. I'll save those knockout rounds because they go against the next group. So I'm going to speak about that group. I feel like there wasn't much to really speak about in that group. As far as like last days go, I mean, I do know if Switzerland lost and Serbia won, Serbia would be going through. Serbia put up a good fight. Unfortunately, they just couldn't get the results to go their way.
I mean, Cameroon beat Brazil. I think that's pretty interesting. But also Brazil didn't have to win
as well.
Right.
Yeah, it was too rotated for.
That's why I kind of didn't really. Yeah,
just
that's why I kind of didn't really about it too much because it was a B team.
Big shout out to my boy Abel Baker. Right, gets a yellow card, scores, takes his shirt off, and gets sent off because why not? You're walking out of the tournament anyway.
Yeah,
that win would have mattered if Serbia found that draw against Switzerland.
It would have.
I believe Cameroon would have went through. So
I think it was just too late. They already knew they were basically out, and I think that's why.
Yeah. And now finally, Portugal and South Korea through. Which I don't think anyone really predicted. I think you might have. I don't know. Someone might have. No, I think Danny. Danny was the one that said South Korea to go through.
Yeah.
This was a tough group. I think we really did see though, like how good all four of these teams were. Are. Yeah. Ghana getting revenge against Uruguay, bringing them down with them. They're like, yeah, no, you guys aren't scoring anymore. You guys are coming right with us, buddy.
Yep.
Korea beating Portugal. When I was watching, it was 1-0. I had to then teach a lesson. Came back, it was 2-1. So, I mean, I definitely think Portugal did Paulo Bento a favor to get the South Korean team through. Not actually, but it is cool to see another Portuguese manager get through. And even though I did think Uruguay were going to get through, my preferred team to get through with Portugal would have been South Korea.
In the weirdest way possible, I told Steven yesterday that if Portugal lose, I want South Korea to go through. So I'm kind of okay with Portugal losing if that meant South Korea go through, and that's exactly what happened. And I mean, we still finished first anyways, which is great.
Right.
And also, Brazil losing against Cameroon means that not a single team won all 3 games in the group stage.
I was literally about to say that. You stole the words out of my mouth.
You don't have to worry about that either, because we could have been one of those teams too. But now, there's no team that did that, and we still finished first. So it's fine. I'm fine with losing that. Because
I know you didn't manage to watch the full game. So as somebody who was working, didn't manage to catch any of it. Did Ronaldo not being in the team make a massive difference?
He started.
Oh, did he start? Because I thought he was injured.
That was the one. So he actually did end up starting.
Okay.
He came off with a 4.9.
rating.
Oh, he did a Messi.
He came
Ooh.
off with a 4.9, but we had a super rotated team with Ricardo Horta, who came on and scored.
Yeah.
Ricardo Horta started, Mateus Nunes started, João Mario started, Vitinha started, Antonio Silva started. Cancelo played left back, which Aiden was saying he prefers to see him at left back, with Diogo Dalot at right back, which that actually worked very well today, by the way. I hope that's one of the few things that was attempted today that stays for the next game. Because Dalot played amazing, and Cancelo, for some reason, I feel like just played
Consistently been playing great for Portugal.
Yeah.
A lot.
And Antonio Silva did play alongside Pepe. No Ruben Diaz this time around. Antonio Silva only dropped to 5.9, though. I know I was advocating for him a lot, but it's his first major tournament. Let's cut him some slack. That's all I'm gonna say.
On the bigger stages, if he plays.
Yeah,
And then
but
sure.
Ronaldo had a couple chances that it's one of those things where we're just seeing Ronaldo not be as clinical as he used to be.
And also, was there a fight with Portugal? I wasn't watching. It was like, were they really fighting for that win, or was it like, I feel like a friendly? You know what I mean?
I'm not sure.
Wait, because did Ronaldo seem injured?
I didn't watch enough because I was at work to really be.
This is the issue, right? Because he was supposed to be out of the game, and clearly he's played because he wants to score more World Cup goals. That's just the reason. But yeah, I don't know.
It's only football he's gonna get.
I mean, again, it wasn't our full
clubless
strength
right now.
Yeah, it wasn't our full strength team, so I'm not.
Transfer news.
Yeah,
Ronaldo might be joining a Saudi Arabian team for £173 million a year.
Yeah, yeah, which is gonna be weird. Just seeing, for me personally, seeing Messi still playing at PSG at a top level and Ronaldo.
Well, no, because he might be going. Well, Messi might be going to Inter Miami.
That is also true, but PSG are also in contract talks with them to see if they can keep him. I don't know what he's gonna choose. He might. I don't know. Choose the MLS, but
yeah, he's always. I think he's always said though, playing for in the MLS is one of his actual top goals, isn't it? Because of his family and stuff like that.
Right.
So that's an interesting one.
From a Portuguese perspective, I actually had one of my friends message me today. I'm not too concerned with this result. I know we didn't get the win, but I feel it doesn't really scare me going into the knockout stages. Not saying that I'm not scared in general for Portugal, because they can be so weird. They could either play amazing or play terribly. But I don't think this result scares me too much. And congratulations to South Korea. I don't know if you guys saw the clip of Heung-min Son throwing his protective mask at the floor and crying just out of straight emotion. Hwang Hee-chan.
It's a last-minute goal to decide that. That's decided as well.
I think it was an assist from Heung-min to Hwang Hee-chan, who plays out at Wolves in the Premier League. And it was a good finish. So congratulations to South Korea. It's definitely, I definitely think between Ghana and Uruguay that South Korea weren't the better teams out of those three. But, personally, from what I saw. But, nonetheless, congratulations. It was a tough group. That was definitely the group of death. So, congrats on that.
I just want to go through it very quickly because I know we have skipped some of what our predictions are. So just very quickly running up. Netherlands, USA, Stephen?
I think Netherlands edge it. I think they edge it.
Danny?
USA!
I want USA to go through, but I think Netherlands edge it.
Yep. Argentina, Australia, what were we all saying?
Argentina.
By the way, mine's Netherlands. As I said before, mine's Argentina as well. Danny, yeah.
I think. I know we've seen Australia make some upsets, but Argentina's quality at the end of the day, even though they haven't looked amazing as a team, I still think they outclass them.
Japan, Croatia.
Japan.
I think
I think so, man. Croatia, like I said, Japan looked good enough for me, and
fingers crossed.
Croatia didn't convince me enough. But then you see moments like the Kramaric goal where they can, turn.
Yeah, they have those moments of quality. But then I feel like we've seen that with Japan as well, the moments of quality.
Right.
So that's one of my top games that I'm going to be watching. Brazil, Korea, South Korea.
I think Brazil. Yeah. Unfortunately, I want South Korea, but I think
without Neymar, I don't know.
Just very quickly, okay, without Neymar, but we all know the pressures of Brazil, right? Like
Right.
Brazil are one of the biggest footballing nations. The pressure that national team has is huge, right?
They're ranked number
Do we
one
see that?
right now.
Yeah. Do we maybe see that play a part in that game?
I think we can, but unless Young Min has an absolute amazing game like he did today,
Mhm.
I don't. You know what I'm saying? Which he can. He's been at the
Yeah.
He's been playing at a top level for years now. I actually think he's more valuable to Spurs than Kane is, personally. Maybe not
I
this year,
agree.
but the last couple years. I think without Son, there's not as much of a high goal scoring Kane. Not to take away his quality at all. He would still be
Well,
hitting.
yeah,
He would still
we've
be
seen
hitting
that.
probably
Yeah.
over 15 goals a season, but without the Hyung Min, I think. So South Korea could beat Brazil, but I think Brazil are gonna edge it. I'm gonna go with that.
I've
Yeah.
said from the beginning that a South American team is gonna win if it's not Portugal. So I'm gonna have to go Argentina and Brazil to go through because
I will also say Brazil. I think their quality is very good. Going on to the right hand side of the draws, England, Senegal.
Senegal.
It's gonna be a tough
With-
game,
with-
but I think England.
Wait, okay, yep, same as me. France, Poland.
This is the one that I think is guaranteed,
France.
like Argentina one. I think France.
Mm.
I think
France,
that all the other games that we've said so far, even the Brazil Korea one, can really go either way. But I think like Argentina should be beating Australia. I think France really should be beating Poland.
I agree, unless Lewandowski can literally like somehow just
Yeah.
because he's had a bad tournament, but he's one of these players that can have 2 shots and score 2 goals.
Exactly.
So
No, literally.
unless he shines, yeah, absolutely, France go through. Morocco, Espanyol.
See, this is the
España.
one.
I think Spain will win.
I think Morocco is gonna give the
I-
freaking game. I think out of all the games, that is the game to watch from the round of 16. Personally,
It'll be 3-2 to Spain.
I think that will be an entertaining game.
I think okay. Just because of how Spain have played so far, if Spain don't score in the first half, Morocco go through.
Fair.
That's how I'm going to say that one. And then Portugal, Switzerland, which
That-
I actually think is a tricky game.
Portugal.
This is so hard for me because like
That's
Switzerland have
how
looked
much.
good this tournament.
Mhm.
They've looked.
Did Portugal beat Switzerland? Yeah, of course, in 2016, because that's when Portugal won the Euros. So yes.
Right.
It's gonna be João Cancelo on the left back position. He's going to go down the wing. He's going to do a Trivela cross to Cristiano Ronaldo, and he's going to bicycle kick it inside to win 1-0 against Switzerland. Thank you, guys.
The last time, I mean, so we played Switzerland back June 12th, 2022, so 6 months ago. They beat us 1-0. That was in the UEFA Nations League. But before that, we beat them 4-0 in the Nations League, 3-1 in Nations League playoff. World Cup qualification, we beat them 2-0. But we also lost to them in the World Cup qualification 2-0.
This is what I mean. It's quite
So
even.
I would, and
Yeah.
you know,
But both teams can score,
Yeah.
so I can't see a nil result.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think it's gonna be 0-0.
Either.
I think one of the teams is gonna win like 2-1, maybe 3-1. I feel like it'll be 2-1, and then they'll like kill them in like the 89th from either side. Like the 89th minute is like boom, kill the game. I really want Portugal to go through, so I'm gonna stick with Portugal. I'm gonna put that positive mindset in the air. But I would not be surprised if Switzerland beat us.
I'm gonna say Portugal only because I want to see Portugal beat Switzerland. I want to see them then beat Spain, then play France, which is a repeat of the 2016 Euro final. I kind of want to see that in a World Cup stage, man. I think that'll be wicked.
And
Like,
there's Argentina or Brazil in the final, and then
I can't. Argentina and Brazil are on the same
Yeah,
side of the
on the same
I'm
side.
saying Argentina
Yeah.
or Brazil in the
Argentina
final.
or Brazil. Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna face
No,
either.
I'm gonna say I actually think it'll end up being Netherlands versus Japan. I'm sticking strong to my Japan semi-finalists.
So you think
I just
you think Japan gets through Brazil? in the quarters.
Yeah, I want to see how the round of 16 goes, just in case there's any injuries and things.
Right.
But I still feel like the way Japan play might suit them against Brazil. Yes, Brazil have got lots of flair, but Japan have just played very, very well as a team.
Right. We do have a bit of extra time, so I just wanted to knock some things out the way, and we can actually talk about one or two things. I'll bring it up to you guys. We have about like another 10, 15. Jonathan David being linked to Man United. He's actually come out and spoken about that as well, so it must be...
There's another Martial. I don't think it's a good move.
I don't think it's a good move either, but that is big for Canadian football to have Jonathan David being linked with a team like Man United, even though Man United aren't the Man United from before. For Canadian football, besides Alphonso Davies, that's a pretty interesting move. Will it happen? I don't think so. I don't think it's going to happen. But
it's not a move that I like. I think it's one of those moves that just ruins another player's career.
Yeah. I agree.
Like, not to United, not at this moment in time.
I agree.
They're not. This is my issue. Where before, if a player was going to United, I'd be like, "Oh, that's a fantastic move. Like, yes, he'll develop. He'll become amazing and world class." And at the moment, it's like a player goes to United to almost die.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's not a. I don't know. And I do rate Jonathan David. I think he could be very good.
I just don't think for Man United, I agree though. I don't think he even fits the system that is trying to be implemented.
I'd rather see United go in for someone like Osimhen from Napoli.
Osimhen?
Like, yeah, I think that would be a much better move.
Right.
A much better move.
We then have Gvardiol, who I will say for Croatia has been fantastic.
Wanted to mention this. Absolute Football Manager legend. His defensive ratings are so good. I really want to see him make a big move because he plays for Leipzig at the moment.
Linked to Chelsea.
Honestly, he's really good. I just don't know if he should go to Chelsea.
That's another one. Chelsea are going through some weird period right now. If this was Chelsea like 2 years ago, I would say decent move. Because Chelsea go through they're like a roller coaster. It's like,
it's not that.
And I think they're down here right now. That might cost Gvardiol
Yeah, I don't think it's that though. I think because he's really good. He's a left-footed centre-back, which so many teams really want and need.
Rare, yeah.
Right? It's really rare, especially to have someone so technically proficient on the ball. Someone who can actually bring the ball out of defence. But I think the issue that you have at Chelsea, even if they're playing like 3-back, you've got Fofana, you've got Thiago Silva, and you've got Koulibaly.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you're going to sign Gvardiol, one of those players needs to leave. And they're not going to get rid of Thiago Silva. They just signed Koulibaly, and they just signed Wesley Fofana.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what's really going on.
We'll end up seeing what's happening, but Gvardiol is he's one to watch as far as center backs go, for sure. He's proved himself on so many levels.
Do you know where I think he would fly? Like, he would fly at somewhere like AC Milan, like same as David, right?
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I think he would fly at somewhere like AC Milan, like Rafael Leao. Like, if you saw Rafael Leao move to maybe like Manchester United, and then saw like Jonathan David like take that role, take that spot, I think that would be a good move.
Okay.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I get it for sure.
Like, you just need that middle club who is very, very good. Maybe not like I don't know. It's so difficult. Do you know what I mean? Like, not a team who's
pressure.
Yeah, you just need that not as much pressure move. Like, we saw it with Pogba, where he went to Juve from United, went back to United and suffered.
That's good. I think that has a lot to do with the English media over there. Like, I feel like they set expectations so high there.
No, I don't think it's that. I think it's the money he cost, first of all, yes.
Right.
But actually, if you saw his performances for Juve, they were very, very good. He was not the same player for United. And I think that
for, like,
was,
players in
was
general, like, that's why they should go to different clubs. That maybe just because it's
no, absolutely.
one bad season there, and it's hard to bounce back from. Like that. That league.
I agree.
Rip you apart if you're not mentally strong, or
Like, the only teams that we've got, like the 3 teams that if a player moves to, and I go, that's a good move, is Man City. If they move to Arsenal at this moment in time, especially. Yeah. And then Liverpool. And Liverpool's still a bit of a weird one, but because of Klopp, I kind of have that faith
Right.
because they've done really well. I think they're the three teams in the Premier League who have a very open European model of coaching and everything.
Right.
Where Chelsea are still going through a rebuild, Manchester United
Yeah.
God knows
There-
what's
yeah.
going on there.
A bit of couple things. I'm gonna go through these pretty quickly. We have Liverpool. They've apparently submitted an offer to Ismail Benacer from AC Milan, Algerian midfielder, who's been pretty good for them. He's one of those defensive midfielders who's still very good on his feet. He's very technical as well, which is, pretty solid. I think it'll be a decent move. I'm not gonna lie, for Liverpool, especially because they need a bit of revamping in that midfield. I feel like, so that'll be interesting.
Would you say
to see.
similar to like a Thiago Alcantara? Or...
Diago is more of like a technically gifted cam, while Benacer is a technically gifted DM.
Copy.
I don't know if he has the same passing range or vision as Thiago, though. But he's definitely a bit more defensive than Thiago, and he's quicker.
I think it depends on how much he gets bought for, because don't forget, there's also Liverpool wanting to sell up,
Right,
and then they also apparently want to sign Jude Bellingham.
right.
So, yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that's But again, I think he's a good player. Would be a good signing.
Yeah. Then we have Frank Kessié already being linked to leaving Barca, going to former rivals Inter. His former rivals, considering he played for AC Milan. Whether that's gonna happen, I don't know. Just because it's a weird one. Because Barca, obviously, we know their money issues, but and he hasn't really performed crazy for them. But at the same time, they had just signed him. Something tells me that he's only on a 1-year contract, though. I'm not sure if I'm right on saying that, so don't quote me on that. But if they let him go for free at the end of the season to Inter, then it is what it is. We'll see. He just hasn't done it at Barca. He's adapted. He knows the Serie A. So
Very well.
Yeah. So it'll be a decent move for Inter for sure. And then the final one that I have for right now, because I didn't do crazy research on transfers, was Real Madrid apparently are eyeing Leroy Sané's situation at Bayern Munich. After this tournament, we'll see. I always rated Sané when he was back at Man City. I heard it was a lot of like his attitude and stuff like that, or maybe he was homesick. I think Aiden told me something like that, which is why he went to Bayern, like back to Germany, I should say. But I know it was also a mix of attitude. But at the same time, like he did perform when he was at Man City, and then sometimes he would just not get played, and he's like, "Why am I not getting played if I'm performing?" But Pep, he likes to rotate.
Just
a lot
Man
as well.
City.
And it's Man City, like you said. Like, look at Mahrez. Mahrez isn't complaining. He got rotated all the time at that right wing spot, and he still put up the numbers.
Right.
So I don't know.
I think for Mahrez moved, like he moved from Leicester to Man City. Right? Like, it is an instant step up. Mahrez wasn't going to be a starter. He knew that because he was explained and told that, look, you need to learn before you play. And he's not 100% adopted to like Guardiola ball, if you know what I mean.
Right.
So I think that's where Mahrez is quite happy, where Leroy Sané just wanted to play.
Right.
And that was it. And he wasn't really, again, it was a bit like Mane, a bit like Mahrez, where he was adapting to Guardiola ball, but not 100%.
Right.
Like, he wasn't fully committed, and then ended up wanting to go back to Germany. And now, unfortunately, Bayern Munich are a bit like, what's going on? Nobody knows.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure we're gonna see a lot more transfer stuff pop up as the days continue and the tournament goes on. It's still early days, so that's also why we're not seeing too much. But it's also actually, it's December, so January transfer window is right around the corner. We'll definitely
2 weeks of the World Cup left, and then 2 weeks until the January
we'll definitely
transfer.
keep our eyes out for that. That'll be a lot of our talking points throughout January episodes is the transfer window. We'll definitely be speaking about that. But yeah, we've covered everything for today. By next time you see us, I believe the quarterfinals will also be done or halfway through it, just because of the way timing is and the way that they're trying to get through the World Cup. So when you see us next, we will most likely be talking about obviously how the round of 16 and quarterfinals went, but we'll also talk about what we think about this semifinal and final coming up. Hopefully, we'll see Portugal in there for myself. Crossing my fingers. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know if you guys have any last minute like little things you wanted to say. Nope.
No. But I will say, adios.
Oh, fair enough. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Like I said, next time I'm sure we're gonna have a lot more transfer stuff to be talking about. We're gonna be talking about the round of 16 and quarterfinals, and then we're gonna have the semifinal and final. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have a special episode right after the World Cup final, so it might be a little sooner or later. I forget. Me and Alm were talking about the timing. I think it's a day later because the final falls on a Sunday, and we want to give you our instant reactions to that final. So when it comes to that, so this one's going to be dropping right before the right before the knockout rounds start. That one will be right after the final. So you will get an episode in between talking about the round of 16 and quarterfinals, predictions for semifinals and final. And then the episode after that will be about 8 days later because we're going to be waiting for the final.
We're recording on Saturday the 10th, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
That will be the date. So we will be recording as the semifinals finish.
Okay. Oh,
so,
okay. So we're going to be...
quarterfinals.
Oh,
as the quarterfinals finish. So
okay.
we'll miss the round of 16 and we'll miss the quarterfinals to catch up on everything.
Right. And then after that, it'll be...
semifinals and final.
Yeah, so that one will be us predicting the semifinals and final, and then after that, it'll be the tournament will be done. It's our review on the tournament, on the final. We'll get our instant reactions right after the final is done. We'll hop on and record a nice little video for that. And then after that, we'll see. We're gonna start getting into transfer news, leagues, other things that Champions League that you guys should be paying attention to, or that we feel you should be paying attention to. But all right, that's it. Peace, guys.
Oh, very quickly. Who do we think is going to be the best player of the round of 16? This is the one final little tidbit. Who's going to be the standout player, do you reckon, in this round of 16?
Ziyech.
Danny?
I know that threw Danny off, but Ziyech.
Yeah, definitely threw Danny off. Let me go for mine while he thinks. I think mine's going to be Jude Bellingham.
Fair.
I think Bellingham is one to watch out for.
And Danny?
This is tough. Come put me on the spot.
10,
You're one
9,
player that you think will really stand out.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, fair enough.
Leaky!
That's fine. But yeah, guys, peace. Thank you.
Peace.